Good evening, everyone. It's Christian from Future Elite Sports. I'm actually sat down with my former head coach, Eric Alsop at Limestone University. So while we're sitting down, Eric, just kind of wanted to ask you a few questions about our potential student athletes from the UK looking to come over to the US, and I suppose what coaches are looking for in essence, really. So just a couple of questions. Firstly, I suppose for you, when recruiting players, what are you looking for first and foremost in a student athlete that I suppose is going to tick that box for you and wanted to bring someone into your program?
Always a tough question to answer, and obviously that's going to vary from program to program, but I think specifically we all kind of look for the same things. One, we're looking for the player to take the lead, that level of maturity that this is about their future. Not that we don't want to have a relationship with their parents, but we want to get to know the players that are going to come join us for 3-4 seasons. And also players that are very responsible, that when we ask them, because there's a lot of paperwork that needs to be done and a lot of little things that need to be done. If it's a player that is always on top of things, that catches our eye a lot more than a player that we've got to chase up. That just kind of shows the maturity level that you're going to bring into our environment on a daily basis. So obviously playing ability is a huge piece of it. We want players that have proven success on the field, high level of fitness, obviously good tactical awareness. The ability to adjust quickly is always impressive. Mental toughness and resiliency. I think all those keywords that we're looking for from players. Of course, we're always looking for the best. But the big thing is, and I think you hit it at the beginning, is they're student athletes. So if we're comparing two players and one player has outstanding academics and another player that's very similar has very poor grades, hasn't really given everything that they have to the academic environment, we're less likely to recruit that player because that's what this experience is about. This is a good blend of the academic side of things as well as playing football at a very high level, having that overall wonderful experience. But this is an academic environment, so we want players that are looking for that experience, that this is a place where you're going to go to class as well as be at practice every day.
Superb. And I suppose a lot of, not just from the UK, but international students in general, don't really understand the mixture of having full-time football and getting an academic an education as well, or a degree if you like. So I suppose the balance between that. So can you give us a bit of an idea of, I suppose, what a typical day looks like for your players especially?
Sure. Again, colleges, we run on a kind of a 2 different class schedule during the week. So you've got classes Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And then you have a different set of class on Tuesdays and Thursdays. For our university, and again, this does vary, the majority of our classes are taken during the morning or early afternoon. So most of our classes are wrapping up around maybe 2 p.m. in the afternoon. Breakfast and lunch squeezed in there, but again, most of the morning is devoted to the academic side of things. And then after that, we train during our championship season. We normally train at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So a little bit of break from class, you go get treatment if you need, and then we're on the field for training. Mondays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday for the most part. And then we have matches on Wednesdays and Saturdays. Typical match day, depending on if we're traveling or not, you're still going to be in class on those days. At home, we'll play at 7 or 7:30 in the evening, depending on if our women's team is playing first. And then on Saturdays, we don't have class, so that's more kind of a professional day for us where we don't have the distraction of having to worry about classes. So our normal week is running Monday through Saturday with Sundays off, and then we start and we do it all over again the next week.
Perfect. And I suppose as far as classes go, do they pick their own classes? Do they have a wide range of degrees to choose from? How does that kind of work?
Again, that does vary from institution to institution. So, that's a big piece when you are exploring schools. If you really know what you want to do academically, is making sure that your major is offered there. In terms of picking your own classes, yes, to a degree, you get to kind of select what classes you'll take, maybe whether, again, if it's on a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or a Tuesday, Thursday, what time it's offered. The more concentrated a major, the more unique it is. You might have less options for class times. The bigger the major, for us, one of our biggest majors is business, so you'll have a wide variety of business classes being offered at different times during the day, but there's usually kind of a set progression from your first year to your second to your third to your fourth, where some classes you have to take at a very specific time, other times you can just fill them in as needed. So it's a loaded question where half of your schedule is almost set in place for you, and then the other half you kind of get to mix and match with classes that you want to take that interest you at specific times of the year. And again, deciding, are you going to have a class at 8 a.m.? Are you going to try to squeeze in a class at 1 o'clock and have to go straight to training? I mean, those are all things that you work out with your advisor. We don't interfere with that. We give advice, but at the end of the day, it's up to our players to figure out what's going to best suit their needs.
What would you say is the biggest benefit for international students coming over to the US? Not just the football, but just in general and the whole opportunity, really.
I think the biggest appeal, and probably why you're watching this video anyways, is the fact that you get to blend both lifestyles. You get to continue on your football careers, play at a high level, have that experience, meet new teammates from all over the world, have that fun part of your experience. But on the other hand, you are still going to be a student. And the unique thing I think about the U.S. athletic system at the university level is the fact that we do blend the best of both worlds. You're going to be in classes in the day, you're going to be working on your academics, you're going to be studying in the evenings after training or after matches. So we balance that lifestyle very much so that when you are done playing here, the majority of us, the careers end after college is over, and we go on to the next stage of our life, which normally is work. And that's a big piece of this experience, is we're trying to get you ready for life after football, so that if you want to be a lawyer, doctor, businessman, whatever it is, that you already have that education piece in place so that you can make that next logical step after you're done with your football careers.
I suppose, and how difficult would you say it is for a first-year student or a freshman to come in and make an impact right away?
Again, that's usually a typical question we get asked, and probably the hardest one to answer, because it really varies from player to player. The biggest difference probably here in the U.S. college game is just the sheer level of athleticism that is involved in the game here. With us playing 2 games a week, our substitution rules are a bit different. So on average, we're probably playing 15, maybe 16 players each match versus 12, 13, 14 players back home. So the athleticism is a huge piece of it. Coming in extremely fit is the biggest advice I can give to any incoming player, whether you're a freshman or coming in as a transfer student, anything like that, is if you really want to give yourself a chance, you need to be as fit as you can possibly be before you step on campus in August. We have 17 days of training before we begin our first match, so there's not a lot of time to get adjusted to where you are. The fitter you are, the more information you can take on during that first 3 weeks of training gives you the best chance of really making a splash in September when matches start. It's not uncommon for a lot of freshmen to come in and have a slow start because it's all brand new. You have to adjust to new tactics, new environment, new culture, new climate, new everything. And sometimes even a player that has an excellent background struggles at the beginning. Might be homesick as well. It's always a piece of it. So the best way we like to focus this is it's a 4-year journey. Most university degrees here in the U.S. take 4 years. So even if you don't kill it straight away your freshman first season, you have a developmental spring coming up where you'll have more opportunities to play and show how good you are. And honestly, for us, the biggest amount of growth we see in every first-year player, honestly, is their second season with us. Because now you know everything. You have all those questions answered in your head. You know the level of fitness required. You know the style of play for your team. You know the system that's played. You know the level of competition. So a lot of times you really see a player explode in their second year if they're mentally strong enough to be able to deal with their first year. If you give up after the first week because you've not seen any playing time, it's going to be a very short journey here. If you can endure with this and understand that maybe you don't kill it straight away, but if you stick with it, opportunities pop up all the time. With 2 matches a week, injuries occur a lot, so players change all the time. I've been here for 19 years. I don't think I've ever had an entire season where I started the same 11 players from one game to the next. I'd be hard-pressed to say that we didn't start 14, 15 different players at one time or another throughout the season. So be patient, stick with it, trust in your abilities, have that confidence, and know, again, that it's going to be a journey.
Perfect. And I suppose a massive question we get asked from day to day, people we speak to, is the divisions. Everyone wants to go Division 1 because they think that's the best level for football or soccer, if you like. So can you just give us a bit of an idea on how the divisions work and I suppose the level of teams in those divisions and so on?
Well, it's very tricky in the U.S. because we have 3 different leagues, basically. So we have NCAA leagues, which is basically just the governing body. And in the NCAA, you have Division I, Division II, Division III. Then you have the NAIA, which kind of mirrors the NCAA, very similar, I would say, to Division II in the NCAA. Then you have junior colleges, which are 2-year universities that are basically prepping you and getting you ready for a 4-year university here in the U.S. So most commonly known are the Division I's, Division II's, Division III's, and it's not like a pro system where there's no relegation and promotion. Division I is different from Division II and Division III, basically on the number of scholarships they're allowed to use for athletics, in the way their funding of their athletics, the amount of money that has to be spent in key areas of their experience. Division II's mindset still has athletic scholarships. We don't have as many as Division I, but it's fairly close. But our mindset with it being a student-athlete experience is supposed to be a 50-50 split between being a student and being an athlete. So we have less travel involved, and our funding is a bit different in how we have to support our programs. And then Division III, there are no athletic scholarships. It's all academically based, and you really are a student first and athlete second, but again, not by much. There's still a high level of football being played, a high level of expectation at the Division III level, but again, just the funding and the support is structured differently. So the best way I always kind of show it is that you've got the Division I tier here, then Division II very much overlaps it, and even Division III overlaps there. So don't get caught up necessarily on the vision that a school is in. Look at the success that that program has had. The top Division II teams are as good as half, if not 60-70% of the Division I programs out there. Same thing with the top D3s would beat some Division I programs. So don't get caught up all of that thinking, oh, that's a Division I team, even though they don't have the greatest record, that's still going to be better than any D2 team or D3 team I'm speaking with. Check the history, check the success, check the academic profile, the size of the school you're looking for, the area that it's in. You can have an amazing experience and play Division III, play junior college, NAI, D2, or D1. It really just kind of, it can be a different experience at different levels. But like I said, the football really does overlap.
Perfect. Well, thanks for speaking to us today, Eric. I know you're a busy man, so we'll let you get off and get back on to what you do best.
My pleasure. Thanks and good luck.